the UK. My name is Julian Scott. I'm the animation consultant here at Film London. And if you don't know what Film London is and what we do, in a nutshell, we're the UK screen agency, unsurprisingly, covering London. Our mission is to connect ideas, talent, and finance. We aim to nurture and develop a diverse, pioneering creative culture and help deliver success in animation, film, television, games, and beyond. I'm delighted to have Patricia Arias and Jose Luis Martinez here with me today. They're both based in Miami and are deeply immersed in the animation sector there through the Miami Media and Film Market, or MMFM. Patty's been involved in public service for more than 30 years in the US, developing local, national, and international programs and incentives. In 2008, she founded MMFM and currently serves as its chief executive. JL looks after the creative direction of MMFM, which has become a yearly industrial event hosted by Camacol, which is the Latin Chamber of Commerce of the US. JL organizes and moderates panels with a wide cross-section of entertainment and media professionals from around the world. To put the two organizations into context, Film London's had a long-standing and close relationship with MMFM, and I've asked Patty and JL to take us through what their training incentive offers and how it works. I've been lucky enough myself to visit the Magic Campus in Miami and seen firsthand the incredible high level of facilities that the college offers. As we go through the conversation, you may well have questions as the conversation moves along, so please do throw those questions into the chat and we'll do our level best to answer them. So we're going to start with a short show reel showing the diversity and quality of the work coming out of Miami. JL, over to you.
Excellent, thank you. By the way, you have a great voice. That should be a narration for our next promo video. I'm serious, that was fantastic.
I'll put you in touch with my agent.
There you go.
Really good.
Yeah. And speaking of reels, so we'll go ahead and show this and then we'll jump into it. So I'm going to attempt to share the screen and the video. All
That's
righty.
excellent.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Yes, glad it played okay. So I am going to share my screen again, and then we'll get into it. But thank you again, Julian, for the opportunity. And then we can get a little bit more into a background of what MMFM is, how we came up with the program, and where we are. So I am going to attempt this again. See if we can get this going. Is everyone seeing the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. All righty, so here we are, the Miami Animation webinar with Film London. It is the 21st of February. So we did that part, and we can move on. Patty, why don't you start a little bit about sort of yourself, obviously, and the background of MMFM and how it all started from its inception, and then we can get into it.
Well, JL is the co-founder. If it wasn't for him, and I couldn't do what we started. And we had the idea in 2008 to promote Miami and promote Miami IP. And then we started working with Film London, and we realized that animation and gaming is the future. So we came up with this plan, JL and I, but it's Jail's baby. So I want to leave it up to him. I want to leave it to him so we can have time and fully get into this, because it's not only will provide an incentive for you guys, but it'll help the industry here, and it'll help us work together. And it's a really cool and innovative project that came out of the post-pandemic era. So I would also like to give credit where credit is due, thank Film London, and also thank the ARPA, which is the American Rescue Plan out of the U.S. Department of the Treasury and administered by the city of Miami. And with that, JL.
Thank you very much, Patty. Great, absolutely. And so, yeah, as Patty was saying, this really all started with our MMFM network, starting with our great partners and colleagues and friends over at Film London. So, for about 14 years now, we've been doing the MMFM conference and expanded into a year-round development program with that. And so, again, just trying to utilize our global network to create the best opportunities, both for our local constituents as well as for our global partners. So it was actually, I want to say 2 summers ago that we were approached by Julian in terms of doing an animation fam tour to Miami. At the time, we were also hosting Kidscreen in Miami, not us personally, the city. And so there was an opportunity for us to collaborate and coincide with the UK delegation attending Kidscreen that year, dovetailing with our own MMFM conference in the summer. And that was really a great opportunity post-pandemic, as Patty mentioned, when the world had changed so quickly. And particularly in our industry, everyone was looking for new opportunities, new ways of working together and collaborating, now that technology is such that remote work has made all of this possible, which is obviously a huge part of our business now. And so out of all this, we came up with the concept called Creatives Miami. So essentially, it is a hub and a showcase of what we feel is some of our top local talent. And we've started this focusing on the animation and gaming industry as a showcase of local animators that can provide professional quality work at a discounted rate with our incentive and training program. So, much like the UK over a decade ago, the animation industry, quite frankly, is a small cottage industry in Miami. But we feel that starting with this local training incentive and being able to recruit some animation studios that need some extra help and that also want to, at the same time, train the next generation of animation talent that could be useful to them in future projects, we felt was a very strong way to start in terms of growing the local industry while also benefiting our global partners, particularly in the UK. And so with that, we're going to show another video, a short video that gets into more detail on how the program works. And then there'll just be a couple more slides after that, and we'll open it up to Q&A. So I will stop this share, and then I will reshare. File. Okay.
content form and market, and we want to create an industry here for our Miami and our Miami-Dade creatives.
Working with a lot of local talent, producers, and then basically partnering them with the major Hollywood industry as well as international studios, film commissions, and countries that are interested in working with Miami.
Animation is really hot, and special effects and gaming. So JL came up with the idea, why don't we have an initiative that fosters animation and gaming?
The program is open to City of Miami animators and gamers who have at least some level of experience. It could be a 2-year degree from Magic. You could be self-taught. You could be someone that studied in a related field but has a passion and some baseline knowledge of animation and gaming that we will then assist to get additional training and get you prepped to work on a team, basically a cohort with some of the top animation projects in the world.
So through this new program, we figured out a way with our fantastic partners at Miami-Dade College and Career Source to help employ these animators in their field and work here.
You'll be hired locally, you'll be working locally.
For the past 8 years, we've been working with Film London, now we're working with Spain, and it's to create opportunities here for our Miami creatives.
And you'll be affecting the global industry in terms of animation and gaming, which has become a huge multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide.
This program, the Miami Animation Incentive, has the potential to be truly a game changer for this school and for every single individual residing in Miami that wish to work in animation. Primarily with Maya, ZBrush, 2D animation, Toon Boom, Harmony, Storyboard Pro, and also Adobe Animate, create assets like Photoshop, Illustrator. Gaming, they get versed in C++ language. And then the game engines that we work with is Unity and Unreal. If we get employers to recognize the talent that we have here in Miami, it has the chance to transform the whole job scenario here in our community.
Career Source South Florida supports local talent through various methods. The first one is through our network of business representatives who are contracted to reach out and help employers find and recruit talent. The second one is also through our business, our connections with organizations like Chemical, our chambers of commerce. Partnering with them allows us to be able to understand the needs of the talent, how they need to develop, how they need to recruit, and how they need to retain. Third one, again, goes through customized job fairs that we may do on behalf of an employer to hire talent. And last but not least, we do it through financial incentives that either through on-the-job training, apprenticeship models, customized training, as an employed worker training. So those are the methods in which we help employers recruit, develop, and find talent.
We're going to be able to show major companies in LA and in the UK and in Spain. It's going to create jobs in the industry that these people studied to work in.
The component of the on-the-job training, I think, is absolutely amazing and actually give the opportunity to these individuals to learn more and to do well. This has the potential to invest in these individuals, in this talent that reside right here in Miami that otherwise would need to change or move to Los Angeles or to Vancouver or to Austin, where they have a robust gaming and animation industry.
There's a shortage of animation and gaming talent worldwide. And we feel that we have the talent locally that can fill that gap and help bring our local industry to the next level.
It is a game changer for our community.
So we can get all these people work, which is what it's about. But working in the industry that they prepared for, and working in the industry that they're committed to, and working in the industry that they're passionate about.
The Miami Animation Incentive and Training Program, this is Miami.
And we're animating the future.
All righty. So with that, I will share the screen for the last time, I promise, and then we can get into some Q&A. So here we are. right where we left off. Okay, so as you saw in the video, the program objective is to mainly create jobs and opportunities for local up-and-coming Miami animation professionals, while providing them some additional skill sets and a work opportunity with either a local animation studio or with one of our international partners or gaming studios internationally as well. So as mentioned in the video, this part training and part incentive means that in exchange for bringing on one of our animation teams, there is a financial incentive in addition to providing the professional services that you need to get your projects done over the long term. So what does this incentive basically look like? Each of them is customized. It's on a case-by-case basis, but essentially, when working with an international studio versus a local studio where we can create a direct hire situation, this would look more like a subcontract where essentially you would hire a local studio or team that would then tap into the incentive on your behalf, very similar to the way, you know, a US production company would tap into international incentives by working with a local production services company. But within that, the idea is to discount the work of the qualified animators somewhere in the range of 40 to 75% of their gross salaries for the first 12 to 24 weeks, or approximately 3 to 6 months on the job. That's the range. But again, depending on the particular project, the length of time, how many team members are going to be involved in the execution of the project, all of that is negotiated, and a specific contract is drawn for each project and for each group coming in. And so this would be basically reflected in the total budget cost or bid from the local animation company that's looking to work with an international studio. And that's essentially how it works from an incentive standpoint. Some of the key benefits beyond the financial incentive is that, you know, there is the opportunity to work remotely with Miami talent. There's also the opportunity to provide specific skill set training to your company. So in other words, and we've had a few conversations in terms of how the major animation and gaming schools work, particularly in the US and Canada. And what we found is that the majority of schools don't train their young animators with the basics and the fundamentals that they need, even for a junior level position. And so what we're able to do as sort of part of the postgraduate training is, in addition to whatever mentoring you're able to provide as the employer or as the, let's say, the contracting studio, we can also work with you to create an additional customized training program to the specific software or tools that you will be using through our partnership with Magic, which is that great animation school that you saw in the video. And as Patty mentioned, with our partnership with the City of Miami, we do have grant funding for that. So that's another key benefit of this free additional training that you wouldn't have to pay for, but could quickly get your young animation team up to speed in the specific skill sets that you need to execute the project properly. And that's part of our no-cost educational partnership with Miami-Dade College's animation school called Magic, which is the Miami Animation Gaming International Complex. Okay, so that's the end of our presentation. That's our partners and sponsors. We're obviously extremely grateful and thankful to Film London for hosting this event today. And with that, we will go ahead and stop sharing for the final time, as I promised, and we can open it up to some questions.
I've got a couple, because I mean, playing devil's advocate ever so slightly here, because there's quite a lot in that presentation which explains the benefits to Miami and the trainees and everything else.
Right.
If I'm a studio here in the UK, and I suppose my nervousness would be that I need to know that the people that I'm hiring from you guys are as ready to go or as they can be.
Right.
So how does that work? I mean, how green is the talent that you're able to offer? How far down their development are they? How sort of ready to go, I guess?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so, you know, part of the incentive training program is that at least a portion of the team will be under the program, which will be sort of on the younger side, on the less experienced side. However, what we're doing is that we're also marrying them with a local animation studio that has senior level animators as well, that have professionals that have proven work and skill sets to sort of dovetail with the junior animators that you'll be working with as well. So it's an entire team essentially from top to bottom. So you'll have from the most experienced to the least experienced. One of the first deals that we just made earlier this year, I can't go into too much detail because the studio hasn't announced it yet, but it is a major studio from Los Angeles that is contracted one of our local studios under this program. In this case, the studio had actually worked with this production company before in Miami on other projects. But now under this new incentive program, they're able to expand their team and take on a bigger project with the studio while also providing the incentive and training. And so at that level, you know, we're comfortable that you're going to be getting experienced animation team along with the incentive and training portion for the younger animators. And at the same time, the studio does have say in who they work with. So there is an interview process, there's a meeting, you know, just like you would subcontract any work, you would see their demo reel, you would talk to them, you would sort of get comfortable with their skill sets and their ability to deliver. And we can actually be part of that process throughout. So it's almost like, you know, you mentioned your agent before, like a mini agency in Miami that can kind of put the feelers out to see who we can best marry you with to create the best possible end product. Because at the end of the day, we realize, and we had a great conversation with a Vancouver-based studio recently, and they're like, look, we're a business. We don't have time to train. We're not a school. So we need you guys to sort of roll up your sleeves, do all the groundwork for us so they can hit the ground running once we're on the clock.
That's great. Thank you. That, and I'm sure that'll put a lot of people's minds at rest on that. And you mentioned that, you know, the contract length could be varied. It's sort of on a case-by-case basis. I'm assuming, and you may have covered this, apologies if you did, that if I was a studio and I came to you, how would that sort of process work? I come to you saying, I need 20 people, or this is the job, and the contracting studio in Miami says, we can deliver 20 people, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a bidding process, like any subcontract, and particularly when we're working with an international studio, because we're working with local incentives and local hires, you know, obviously we can't have a direct employment situation with a UK studio and a Miami. So the Miami production company would take care of the hiring process, the vetting, and all of that part of it. But sort of just to kind of dig into your question a little bit more, yeah, essentially, you know, what, for example, an international studio would be doing is putting out a creative brief of this is what I need. This is the scope of work, the scope of services. I need a team that's experienced in 2D animation or 3D, or we need character design or rigging or whatever is the portion of the project that you need help with. Provide that brief, and then we would help you essentially to locate the right team that we think would fit. You would meet with them on Zoom, just like we're doing now. You would vet each other out. If it's the right fit, they would provide you a bid, right? A contract bid for those services, which would already include the discount of the financial incentive and the training.
Great, thank you very much. So it's in essence, it's no different, as you were saying earlier, than, you know, me contracting with a studio in Vancouver or a studio in Bangalore or somewhere like that. I just go, but what I'm getting access to is these incredible incentives, which could be up to 75% of the cost of that team.
Right, of the individual salaries for the qualified animators, correct. Which again, those are determined on a case-by-case basis.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, so I think it sounds very interesting. I mean, as you know, there's been a couple of studios that I've been speaking to in London who've been in touch about this, and I'm hoping that there will be many more. I mean, there's no questions in the Q&A at the moment, so I'm assuming that you've explained this all incredibly well, which is terrific. If people want to find out more about this, I mean, is that they can come through me and I can put them to you? Is that the best way of doing it?
Exactly. Yeah. If they reach out to you, Julian, and they're interested in having a follow-up Zoom meeting one-to-one, then we can get into more granular detail on their specific needs and projects. But yeah, absolutely. You can forward all that information to Patty and myself, and then we'll set up a follow-up meeting one-to-one to
Cool.
discuss their specific needs. Absolutely.
Brilliant. And my strategy of saying you've explained it all so brilliantly well has indeed spurned a question from Pauline Hamilton. And Pauline said she has some questions. Pauline, if you want to type some of those into the Q&A portal, then we'll do our level best to try and answer them, if that's okay. Unfortunately, I don't know what Pauline's questions are at the moment. I'm sure they'll be very quickly. I mean, out of interest. Oh,
There they go.
Oh, here. Do I need to type them? Okay, so that's an easy one. Yes.
No, I'm afraid you would, Pauline.
Oh, she says, or can I speak? I don't know if that's possible, right?
I don't think I'm not Zoom webinar savvy enough to be able to grant you the ability to speak, I'm afraid, Pauline. Kevin Sharpley, who we both know, has asked the question, does this overlap with VFX?
Yes. So yeah, Kevin is one of our local animation producers. So thanks for joining us, Kevin, early in the morning, Miami time. Does this overlap? Yes, absolutely. It overlaps with visual effects. So with our relationship with CareerStos, because we're putting it under this sort of digital media umbrella, we are able to also handle some visual effects work in addition to animation, 2D, 3D, and gaming projects. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Still hoping that Pauline's typing skill are going to.
Okay. So yeah, I think type answer is okay. So now I think please type.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pauline's asking if she could have a conversation. I think the best thing to do, Pauline, is for me to put you in direct contact with Pat AL, because it sounds like you know, you've probably got a few questions to ask. I can easily broker that relationship, not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Don't know if anybody else has got any questions coming up. No, that all looks pretty good at the moment. Well, what I'll do is now, if anybody doesn't know how to get in contact with me, the best email to use for me is animation@filmlondon.org.uk. Animation@filmlondon.org.uk, and I will be very, very happy to put you in direct contact with Patty and JL, because I am a mere conduit here. They have all the answers. I have plenty of questions myself. But if there's nothing else coming out of the Q&A at the moment, I think what I'll do is I'll let you guys get back to breakfast, basically.
Right, there you go. Oh, wait, there's something just came in.
Here's one. Adam, can the on-the-job training element all be front-loaded? So say a few weeks of training followed by a full-time commitment to the production schedule from the Miami team.
That is a great question. And yes. So the idea is that we would work with you before their quote unquote, the Miami team is on the clock to design the training and with our local educational partners at Magic. Now, that said, while they are on the clock as a Miami team, the local supervisor of the Miami team would be providing some additional on-the-job training to sort of, you know, tweak their knowledge along the way. So it's not that the training stops once they're on the clock, but we can work with you to make sure that the necessary skill sets they need, particularly for the junior level, they're up to speed before they start on the clock with our partners at Magic, the animation school, so that once they are, and this is not like a very long, these are more like boot camp trainings of a couple weeks. If there's some specific software or version of a software that they need to be up to speed on. And then while they're on the job, you know, they're working full time as part of your team, but their local supervisor, you know, with your guidance as well, would also be a part of the process of providing some ongoing training and skill sets so that at the end of the project term, you know, they're basically at another level from whence the time that they started.
Cool. I'm hoping, Adam, that answered your question fully. Again, Adam, I'll put you in direct contact with the team, and you can ask any more questions directly of them. Just see if there's any more coming in from anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yes, yes, met me at Kids Screen, and I did survive the lousy weather. I got very, very wet one night on the way back from a karaoke bar, but that's a whole story. Yeah, the email is animation at filmlondon, all one word, .org.uk. So that's animation at filmlondon.org.uk. Yes, I can highly recommend Werewolf as a karaoke bar.
Yes, and to be fair, Julian, that rainy, soggy weather was in San Diego, not in Miami this year, which we were a little bummed of losing that conference. But I'm glad that the karaoke was fun.
It was very, very good. It was extremely good, I have to say. It was. I miss Miami a lot. I miss you guys because it would have been great to catch up with you. But yeah, I'd not been to San Diego before, so it was a new and very, very pleasurable experience, I have to say.
There you go.
Cool. It was sad. Oh dear, that's not good. And there was, yeah, that's not good at all. The other little wrinkle in an otherwise brilliant plan of San Diego was there was a railway line right opposite the hotel, and some people got stuck for over 30 minutes waiting for a train to go past one night. So it was,
oh boy,
didn't have that in Miami. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I don't think there's anything else coming through, but I really, really appreciate your time. You got up early to do this, to fit in with our schedule. So thank you so much for doing that. Always a pleasure to see you both and talk to you, and let's see if we can get some more of this moving.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Julian, and for everyone that joined the call today. We really appreciate it, and hope to work with you soon.
Fantastic. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.